These mighty rapids have challenged and killed some of the world's best kayakers and rafters. No one has ever made it heading up into the jaws of this ruthless river, but that soon may change.
I hate to see him do it because I don't think he's going to make it.
He might get up there quite a ways, but I don't see him making it now.
I'd say his chances are about 50-50.
I know he's not going to make it.
I've seen the water and I just don't think he can get up it.
I really am apprehensive of whether it's really possible to shoot the Devil's Canyon upstream.
At the base of the tallest mountain in North America, Mount McKinley, flows the Susitna River. Here in south-central Alaska lies an 11-mile section of the river known appropriately as Devil's Canyon. This is some of the roughest whitewater in the world. Rated at a Class 7, there is no river rated at an 8 or higher. Some say if it's an 8, it's a waterfall. Within this 11-mile stretch, the river roars between vertical rock cliffs, at times not more than 50 feet apart. A German kayaker was swept to his death trying to ride down the canyon. Several upstream attempts have been made. One was well documented.
A specially designed jet boat tried to breach the canyon. It was a disaster. The powerful steel boat was battered, it overturned, and it sank, spilling 5 people into the icy waters. One of the survivors, newsman Steve McDonald, well remembers the near tragedy.
The river was up above flood stage at that time, and that's what made it so treacherous. The hydraulics were just unbelievable that day, and that's what swamped the boat.
Only the skillful flying of a helicopter pilot made the difference between life and death.
55 miles downriver from Devil's Canyon, the Susitna turns placid as it slowly makes its way to the sea. Resting on the banks of this seemingly peaceful river is the rural town of Talkeetna, Alaska. It's the kind of place everybody knows everybody else. Talkeetna does have 2 parking meters, but the folks who live here just ignore them. They seem to have been put here just to make the vacationers feel at home. There's one man in this community who thinks he can tackle Devil's Canyon upstream in a powerboat. The rest of Talkeetna seems to think he can't.
My experience has primarily been with just the top half mile or so of the canyon, and I don't think the boat's going to get that far.
I don't think he's going to make it. I think he's going to get hurt.
I don't care if he makes it or not.
His name is Steve Mahay, and he's logged many an hour on this river. He knows its every bend and mood. For 10 years, he's owned and operated Mahay's riverboat service. And along with his 6 employees, they've carried from 3,000 to 4,000 clients over this river per season.
You know, some people say, oh, are you an Evel Knievel or something like that? I don't think I am that at all. There's something in each one of us. It's that air of challenge. There's just something novel about trying to do something that somebody else has tried and has never made. Why not give it a try?
Why not? Well, Steve is a family man, and leaving a wife and 3 sons at home while he risked a romp through Devil's Canyon would make more than a few men think twice.
It doesn't seem that dangerous to me. I suppose because I live out there all the time. Maybe to people that aren't out there all the time, it would seem dangerous.
And how does Steve's wife, Chris, feel about him risking his life just to be able to say, I did it?
He's got a lot of sense, you know, and he's never done anything that has been, he's done crazy things, but nothing that has endangered his life to the, you know. And if he didn't feel he could do it, he wouldn't even make an attempt at it.
And I figured I'd try to talk him out of it. The reason why I made up my mind to do that is because he's a solid part of this community and a lot of people depend on him.
When you live in a small community in Alaska, you have to wear several hats. So no one in town seems surprised each Sunday when Steve Mahay, riverboat runner, becomes Steve Mahay, local preacher.
He came to Jesus at night and said, "Rabbi, we know you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one could perform the miraculous signs you are doing if God were not with him."
You got the radio, Fred?
I got it. Go.
Whereabouts is it?
Another hat Steve and his wife Chris must put on in a moment's notice is that of a medic. Today, Steve labors to save another's life, though in a matter of days he will put his own life on the line against the Susitna.
Hey, can you hear me?
I'd rather be out on the river than on the highway a lot of times when I think of my personal safety. When you think of driving down the highway and you've got maybe Aunt Tilly that's had one too many drinks down at the corner bar, and you know, here she comes around the corner and she isn't looking where she's going, and kapow, she's got you. At least on the river, you don't have to worry about, especially in the canyon, some bozo half drunk coming around the corner and smacking into you. What you do, you're doing.
"5 days before his scheduled attempt, Steve flew in to inspect the Susitna one last time. To even stand a chance, Steve must know all he can about his adversary. His best chance for success is when the river is at a low flow rate. It can't be too low, or usually hidden jagged boulders will be exposed, increasing the obstacles threatening to tear away at the hull of his boat, making the attempt even more difficult or totally impossible. As Steve ponders the attempt, the Susitna seems to be staring back. It may still have a few surprises of its own. As Steve begins preparing for the river, it seems the river begins preparing for Steve. 4 days before the scheduled attempt, rain begins to fall. Day and night, sometimes pouring, other times just drizzling. The river begins to rise. A high river is something Steve has no control over, and that, more than anything else, could mean his failure. One giant long ago fell to a mere sling and stone, but Steve hopes to level this one with a power boat, and not just any boat.
The scraper's right over there. Scalpel, right. We've gone and put a Formula engine in it. It's a 454 Chevrolet block, and it's putting out a little over 400 horsepower. It's got a 205 Hamilton impeller.
The boat is a 27-foot Olmar, which Steve chose because of its durability in big water.
You can actually hit something with it, like a boulder or something in the river, and just about kill everybody on board, yet the boat will keep on going. It's incredible what a boat will do. Anything that is absolutely not necessary for that particular run, we're throwing out of the boat. That boat is lighter than it's ever been.
Well, 2 more pieces like that. That's quite a bit of weight. Yeah.
And we're slinging in with helicopters fuel actually to the top side of the canyon, so that when we start into the canyon, I will have just the fuel that I need on board. No extra fuel weight whatsoever.
And there are other precautions. Large blocks of styrofoam are stacked in the boat and lashed securely with tie-downs.
There's no way that the boat is going to sink. It might get swamped, but there's enough styrofoam in it so that it will not go under. Unless the hydraulics were to pull it under for a short period of time, it would pop right back up.
2 plywood shields are measured and cut to fit over the windows to protect Steve from broken glass if the giant hurls a wall of water. After the boat was overhauled, Steve decided to make sure everything was working correctly. If there is a problem with a boat, it's not just a matter of calling it quits and floating back downstream for repairs. There is a moment before any worthy quest when stark reality replaces dreams. And with that, the possibility exists that it will not end the way dreams end. What kind of man will place his reputation on the line and gamble against the odds? If he succeeds, he is viewed as a hero. But if he fails, some men look forward most of their lives to a certain event or challenge. Then, just when it's about to arrive, suddenly it came too soon.
I don't think he's going to make it. I think he's going to get hurt.
Would you join Mahay on his try tomorrow?
Absolutely not. There's no way would I want to go back up to that river.
Like the Susitna, McKinley has beckoned men to subdue its mighty zenith. And as Steve Mahay makes his attempt, McKinley will be watching to see how its cousin of the valleys, the Susitna, will fare.
We ready? Let's go for it.
After 4 days of rain, the weather finally breaks and the rain subsides. As man and machine rumble toward a showdown with the river, spirits seem lifted. It's late September, and there is already a chill in the air as boats, fuel, and support personnel leave Talkeetna a little after 8 a.m. They journey upriver to a point just below the canyon called Portage. The early pioneers who came through this area less than 100 years ago left their mark on a land untouched and wild. Steve must feel some of the same uncertainties that faced those pioneers as he and his friends take time to pray for his safety. Before he launches, Steve insists on one last flight to inspect the condition of the rapids. The next time he sees them, he'll be in their grip. Within this 11-mile stretch of whitewater rapids, 4 sections stand out as extreme problem areas. The first is steep-walled canyon, always kept in the dark by its high vertical cliffs. Then Hotel Rock, which divides the already torrential stream into 2 faster-moving waters. Next is the Nozzle, a tight spot in the canyon walls that can mean 30-mile-per-hour water racing through its spout. And finally, the Boiling Pot, a churning torrential force that could easily throw a 27-foot boat into the jagged walls of Devil's Canyon. Steve watches closely, trying to memorize the trouble spots and how to maneuver around them. If Steve is thrown out of the boat, the life jacket will keep him afloat. The glacial water is so cold that without the dry suit, irreversible hypothermia would set in after only a few minutes.
Ready to go.
You okay?
Yep. Let's go.
Hey, go for it, Steve! God bless ya!
Tailing Steve in the helicopter is a paramedic trained in cold water survival. A tow line and net are also in the chopper in case of an emergency. Steve was anxious to get underway. With years of preparation behind him, he is now ready to battle this giant hand to hand. The river doesn't hold back, and almost instantly, Steve finds himself struggling for control.
Okay. He's cutting across. He's going for it. There he goes.
Man, that's dark down
there. There he goes. He's going right into that roughest spot.
A little close to that.
He's coming through. Oh, I think he hit the wall, Bob.
Yeah, he did. Did you see that?
Oh, I think he's in trouble. No. There he goes. There he goes. Yeah, I think he hit the wall. He bounced off that wall and went to the left. And now he's going to the right.
Yeah, I hope that's okay.
There he goes. Oh, he just went around.
Looks like he's okay.
Look at that spray in front of that boat. That water must be going 30 feet in front of the boat.
It's a combination of cunning and horsepower that pulls Steve through this steep-walled canyon. And with round one under his belt, it's time for a breather.
You know what? I never even got the bow wet. I don't know what you could see, but right in the wall, underpowered. Well, we'll keep going. We'll see what happens. We're 1/3 of the way. We'll go for the next one.
The Susitna is waiting with another challenge. Hotel Rock looms ahead. The next 3 sections will take all the strategy and calculating effort he's got and all the horsepower his boat can muster.
He's coming up. He's working on the right side, going to the left. Here's where he cuts across. He's going to cut across right there.
No, he's all right. He's right in the middle. This isn't too bad here. You know, this is not. He'll be all right.
He made it right through that one.
Hotel Rock has been a nightmare for kayakers in the past. This huge boulder causes severe turbulence as well as a much faster flowing river.
Okay, hold it steady. Here he comes. He's going right past the... He's by that rock. He's taking the inside now.
He's going to the left. Yeah, right there. Oh, there's not much there. All right.
Steve knew just where to place his boat and plowed through with little resistance. He's had so much experience and studied this river so long, he knows how to make it look easy.
It is dark down in there, but that's like, he's like in the night. It's like it's night down in there.
There, the canyon's getting real narrow up here.
Okay, here's some white water coming up. He's
pretty narrow right in here. Oh, this ought to be a tough one.
The next challenge thrown down by the Susitna is the nozzle, where the already powerful river funnels its currents through a roaring, narrow channel. Steve knows he's got to hit this one just right, so he jockeys his boat in for a closer look before heading into the full force of the river. If he makes it through this one, it's out of the nozzle and into the boiling pot. The nozzle will lead him immediately into the roughest section of whitewater in Devil's Canyon.
Look at that. It just turned him wide.
Oh, he's got that right spot. He's going up on that chute on the right side.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the easier way to go.
Standing still.
He's got that big standing wave right in front of him. Just piece of cake. All right. Hey, get past that one. Great. Boy, look at that water spray, Bob.
Finally, the giant unleashes its most devastating weapon, the boiling pot. From a standing position in his boat, he gets a better perspective of the turbulence. The giant hurls down haystacks as deep as the boat.
That stretch of water, you got to keep in mind that the water's moving down so fast. I don't know what its water speed. So this is the last one. If he makes it through this one, he's got her licked. But look at that water.
The water here is moving about 30 miles per hour, and Steve must utilize every bit of horsepower his boat has got at just the right times to prevent being dashed against the rocks.
Some of those poles down there are really... Here we are up here.
There he goes.
You're down in there. That is
He's going on the right side. No, he's coming back.
Look at it, shoving it. Just shoving it.
Look at that. It looks like slow motion. I don't think he's gonna make it.
He turns
He's
it.
back. Oh, he's out of control. I think he's in trouble down there, Bob. I think he's in trouble.
No, if he turns to the
No,
side,
he's resting there.
he's got to get out of that little pocket.
Here he goes.
He's got to get out of there.
He's going for it.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, that's okay. All right.
See that? That whole boat was completely out of the water. Can you believe that? Man, that must be a ride down there. Water. That's incredible.
Size of those things. I mean, that water is churning.
He's got the cross.
Shove it.
He's in trouble. Look at that wave. Look at the water.
Let's just grab the only his boat and shove it over that much. It's not
Incredible. Look at that. There he goes. There he goes. Oh. He's going around.
He is right next to that rock.
Okay, he's going up. He's on the left side.
He gets way up by that rock.
Coming around. Coming around.
Oh, yeah. All right, just one last. This is it. Okay, if he gets it through this section, man, he's going to have it.
Imagine that.
That's it. That's the
Imagine
top.
that looks like down the boat.
That'll be the last one if he gets up through there. Come on, Steve. Come on. This is it.
All right.
Hey, I'm right. That's the last one. He got through it.
No, that's a record.
It's late in the afternoon when Steve conquers the last of the Susitna's challenges. And those who wait to embrace him know a giant lays humbled in the canyon.
I'm excited. Congratulations, Steve.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Hey, I thought you'd been a loser.
Well, I tell you what, I thought I might too.
Oh, boy. How's it feel?
Well, it feels good to be up here, and I'm not going to do it again.
You don't want to go back down?
No, not going back down.
Talkeetna resident Steve Mahay successfully tackled the Susitna River's Devil's
congratulations
Canyon.
out to Steve Mahay. He set a world record.
In the news, Steve Mahay today became the first to successfully take a power
48 miles northeast of Talkeetna has been described by some as the Mount Everest of kayaking.
Some say this great Susitna River should never have been attempted. One more piece of Alaska's vanishing wilderness was captured. But has there really been any damage done? The river is still there, unchanged, as if the boat had never passed through its raging current. But the captor, wearing his crown of glory, has changed. A man has accepted a challenge, and with careful planning and preparation, he has turned a dream into reality. The river remains unchanged, but Steve Mahay will never be the same.